looking for, what's it called?
Tillerman Road.
Well, to get you there, getting back. That's your concern.
I think I can get it to go down.
Do we want to go down?
Do we want to go down? You heard her. Let's start the show.
Not twice, that's right.
Know what he did? He put another record on.
You need dumb people in horror movies. It's not Thanksgiving, but somebody's been cooking. You saw that new intro, ladies and gentlemen. Dare I give a compliment? Hold. No, I'm not. But it was fire. It was good. Whoever did that. And they cut it off right before we had to pay. Love it. Because I'm not paying nothing. But it's not just me paying. No. It's also the next doctor. Sir, how you doing?
I am excellent, and I am broke, so I'm not paying for anything.
And last but not least, the person who might be behind the song, the executive consultant. Sir, how you doing?
You know, this is just a broke trio. Okay, I had to cancel a trip this weekend. Third trip in a row I had to cancel, but I'm a broke mofo. Yeah, can't make it to New York this week. I was supposed to go to New York, but can't afford it. Life is lifing definitely right now. So I'll be paying attention to the election, which is going on right now from when this is released.
Huge.
Right there. But
It's like you need to find yourself and go down.
On a serious note, please go out there and go vote so we can make sure we don't watch movies like these.
Maybe
we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it because what the hell? What the hell, director? What the hell did you have me watch?
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, okay, quick behind the scenes. I don't really ask for favors on the show, but once in a while when a movie just has piqued my mind and I say, let's review this, we haven't done it, I'll say, hey, favor, let's review this movie. The Cabin in the Woods is one of them. You know, Halloween is probably my favorite season other than Christmas, but Christmas, since I don't have kids, it's whenever I buy myself stuff. So it's like every payday when my job pays me. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, this is my season. I love it. I love it. I love it. We already picked our movies, but I said, I need one more. Chris, well, pause. I need one more. Okay. I need one more. I got to have it.
Go down.
Do you really want to go down?
All right. This, ladies and gentlemen, this show is brought to you by the letter R. That's what it's rated tonight. Okay. Anyway, and they were happy to oblige me. And they say, yes, we will review this. Can you review Smile 2? I said, yes, 2 weeks ago. That one's coming with Singing in the Rain. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. In any event, why did I pick this movie? Because it is the peek behind the curtain. Also synopsis. The peek behind the curtain of how these horror movies work. Okay. Now, if you saw Scream, then you already know when he got up, he said, these are the rules you have to follow if you want to survive a horror movie. Well, this one is the people behind the horror movie. So it's almost like a fourth wall break within a movie itself. And ever since I saw this movie way back when it first came out, I love the concept. Full credit. I didn't get to see this in theaters. I saw it on back then, ladies and gentlemen, we had something called DVDs. And I saw it on DVD, ladies and gentlemen, because Blu-ray was expensive. That was expensive, Jamie. Okay. This is before VOD. Okay. Before Blu-ray with the $24. Who's paying $24? $24. Okay. Well, Chris was always big money.
I went and got Blu-ray. I miss DVDs. You have to like the technology now where you have access to it instantly, but there's something about getting DVDs almost on the same level as Blockbuster. When you had DVDs, like, you doing things, you doing big things. You had to get the speakers in.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it was a badge of honor to have these lined up, the little cases lined up, alphabetical by a category, however you did it.
You want to watch a movie?
Yeah. Look at everything I got. And you said, damn, this person has money, prestige.
Yeah.
Outside they're stealing cars, but this person has prestige inside the house. Okay. This is how we do it.
Now it's just what apps do you have?
Yeah.
Yeah, the more apps you have,
on your phone.
The more apps you have, the more money you have. You know what I'm saying? You have to have more than just Netflix. You know
It's
what
not
I'm
the
saying?
same. It's not the same.
Not
In
the
any
same.
event, we
Those
go
apps
back
are
to a
expensive.
time. I'm sorry, Rashad.
I said those apps are expensive though, so that is money.
But they add up. That's why I don't have cable also. But I do have YouTube TV. YouTube TV.
I got that too. Yeah, it's a pretty good deal.
It's
because it gives you just the amount of cable that you want, and plus
it helps because I can rewind and pause live.
Yes.
You
remember when you had to pay for that service?
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
Also,
paying for the DVR. I remember that.
Yeah, but YouTube TV ain't cheap either.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this episode of We Love the 2000s.
Well, the reason I can mention this because the stuff that you see now and the stuff you saw 10 years ago, you didn't see when you were in certain cabins in certain locations.
That's true.
How it's out of back there.
That's true. We went the long way around that cabin. In any event, it is the cabin in the woods. Chris is still going around it. You see that, ladies and gentlemen? He has AOL. But tonight, Chris, you're back. Doing the cabin in the woods. Literally, it is about a peek behind the curtain. And why in horror movies, have you ever wondered why do they run upstairs and not out the front door? Why do they breathe so loudly when the killer's right outside the closet door? Why do they drop the knife, which worked so effectively a second ago, on the couch and then just walking up the stairs screaming, kids, where are you? Here also am I, to the killer with echolocation. This movie explains it all in a fun way while also giving you the bloods and the gore, the cabin in the woods. Did anybody have a favorite scene, favorite moment, favorite character? I would love to hear it.
Yeah, so I didn't know anything about this movie going into it. As you said, it was a favorite to you. So I was like, okay, sure. I'll watch another one for you. You know, not really my favorite thing, but it's for you. I'll do it. One doctor to another. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, wait a second. Is this a horror movie? Because from the beginning, based on the other movies we've seen, they kind of ramped up quickly. This one started out a little bit slower, and it was a little bit odder. I was like, what? Why are these people in an office building? And then we're switching over to these, what is going on here? And then, I see the title screen, which did catch me off guard. And I'm like, okay, this is the right movie. But what is actually happening here? And I mean, after that, it was just like ridiculousness ramped up. I would probably say, I don't know if it was a favorite scene, but I was kind of hoping that's when the action would start with her face getting ripped off when she was making out with that wolf head. Yeah. I was just I was kind of rooting for the wolf head to animate and, just trump her face, but that didn't happen. So that was kind of a letdown. But I mean, she did give great head at the end because we got through her head. Oh, I can't leave without my friend. Thor just said that she's gone. Mm-hmm. Listen to the God of Thunder.
Listen to Thor.
But no, I'm gonna open this door after you see the man bloody. You ask him, "Hey, is this all your blood?" But no, you want to be stupid, and I believe the intro that you touted even mentioned you got to have stupid people in these horror movies, and she definitely had some of that stupid drug. Even though they said that the stupid drug was supposed to be in the hair dye for the blonde, something must have got on her or something. I don't know, but she opened the door, and there's a zombie with her friend's head. He's like, "Oh, you're looking for her? Here you go." That mystery solved, ladies and gentlemen. You can continue now. But I thought that was a pretty funny scene.
But remember that all through the movie, when ladies and gentlemen, you have to know there are people literally working backstage or underground in facilities, right, who are affecting the people in this scenario in the cabin in the woods. And so they're releasing pheromones to get them in that moment, to get them in that mood. They're manipulating the moonlight, almost like Truman Show.
The temperature,
pheromones. Say that again.
The temperature as well. They're can we control the temperature in the area? So, she's a little cold. Let's warm it up for her.
Yeah,
so she can warm it up for him.
So that's why Chris Hemsworth's character, he's actually not a dumb jock. You know what I mean? He's actually really smart. But they dump him down throughout the course of the movie, and then when it's not working enough, they dumb them down even more. So we get to see like the effect of, again, like I said, why are people going up the stairs, or like, hey, he goes, hey, we need to all stick together. Then the next second, hey, let's all split up. So, you know, it's,
and they just accept it.
Yeah. Except the one character.
Except the one guy who, hey, I mean, I guess maybe this is a little head nod to our current regulations with
yes,
marijuana, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to get ahead in life, if you want to be outside the system, smoke a little bit. It's okay.
The marijuana saves lives.
This marijuana saves lives.
If you're a Florida, vote no on option 3. Let me tell you what my favorite scene was. It was the trailer. No.
Here we go.
It was the trailer. James picked Cabin in the Woods a week or two ago, last week. You know, I was like, you know what? I heard good things about this movie. You know what? Let me go ahead and give it a chance. Then I saw the trailer, like, you know what? This actually looks pretty good. I'm interested. I'm intrigued. Then the opening scene happens, and I had to press the, you know how you're watching. We talk about these apps. So you watch it, you hit the apps, and then you hit the back button so you can find out what the title is. Because I was like, hey, am I watching the right movie? Because this don't look like no Cabin in the Woods. What the hell is this? I was like, this game. I must have pressed the down arrow too fast and been okay. You know, we all done it, right? Clicked the wrong thing, and then it just said Cabin in the Woods. I said, what the hell is this? This is Cabin in the Woods. So the first, I don't know, hour and 33 minutes. So kudos to you there. But I was watching. I'll say the first 30 minutes. I said, what the hell am I watching? Is this the horror movie that I thought it was? So I looked at IMDb, and I saw a horror comedy. I said, well, I definitely see the comedy.
Joke's on you.
Yeah, exactly, because the joke was on me. I'm over here thinking I'm watching a legit horror movie. This shit was not legit. I said the trailer was my favorite part. And the reason I say the trailer was my favorite part because it spoiled the whole movie for me outside of the fact it was a joke. Right? This was the biggest serious letdown. I don't know. You know, we've been doing this for like 5 years now. Shotty's been doing it for like 2.5. And I'm like, I've had this moment a few times. I could probably count on one hand how many times I've had this movie. I'm like, is this movie really good? Or is it the biggest piece of shit I've ever seen in my life? So you'll find out later what happens when we give our thumbs up and thumbs down. And I'll tell you, I had to think about it when I looked to the bathroom. I had to take a shit. And I looked at that turd and I said, okay, does this look like the Cabin in the Woods? So find out, stay for that. But
does it look like the Batman?
Ooh. Yeah. So the only other thing I will put in there was my favorite scene was the elevator. After he said, "Oh, yeah, we gotta go down." Best acting I saw in the movie when she legit looked at it like, "Motherfucker, do we really want to go down?"
You sure about that? You sure?
But I saw that in the trailer. So when you started finding out, like, oh, the guy's still alive, just like you knew last week in Your Next that the guy was a part of the killings. I was like, well, I already know the guy's still alive because I saw him in the trailer all bloodied up, just like I saw her all bloodied up, and they were talking in the elevator and they were talking about going out. And the movie scene hasn't happened yet, so I already know he's still alive. I knew Chris Hemsworth was dead because in that scene, and obviously those were the 2 ones left. And then that's another little thing that's a spoiler, and then we got to go and run the commercial. But that was another thing that's a spoiler is Thor gets on his bike, and he's telling some of the most heroic shit I've heard since Independence Day when they're about to attack the aliens, right? About how he's going to go, he's going to get Chopper, he's going to get help. I said, once again, I mentioned it last week, and I probably was going to upload it. I wanted the Red Queen to come up and say, you're all going to die down here, because it was very obvious that this man was about to get killed. Very obvious that he was about to get killed.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about the force field when they went there because the bird slammed into it.
I forgot about that, too.
Until he slammed into it. I was like, oh, yeah, they showed us that.
Yeah, I didn't know how he was going to die. I thought some monster was going to come out and bite him or something, but I knew his ass was dead. Then they played the music also. You know, so a few scenes in this movie, even the guy that got stabbed in the neck when he was driving, I mean, he was all talking all that nicely nice. You knew he was about to die. They set it up perfectly that every time somebody was about to die, I wanted to ask,
do you feel in charge?
No one felt in charge. Not the director, not the little underlings throwing a party with tequila. You know, that's another one that you knew was going to die. You knew that guy was going to get killed by a merman somewhere. I was just waiting for it. You know, he talked to him. Foreshadowing was great in this movie. That should be my name if I did the thing that the director up there does. Sometimes when he changes his name. Foreshadowing will be my name. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to come back and talk more about this movie. Stay with us. You're watching Unpopular Review. Find out what reviewing Thursday and Tuesday. Stay with us.
Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of will and taste.
Mr. Gecko, my name is Jacob Moore. I'm going to marry your daughter.
He's not who you think he is, Jake. He'll hurt us.
Why don't you start calling me Gordon? You want to be part of the family business.
You got my attention. But when you don't know what you're doing, it's fatal, Mr. Moore.
It's about doing the right thing. It's about the game.
I did tell you, Jake. I did warn you.
It's easy to get in. It's hard to get out.
Is that a threat?
Absolutely.
You remember Louis Fergoli?
From high school?
I went to his apartment. I keep seeing this face everywhere.
This thing is a parasite. You witnessed a death. Now it's latched onto you.
911, what's your emergency?
I need to stop it, but I don't know how.
Back to back hits, ladies and gentlemen. What is it? Wall Street. Then we got Smile 2. Smile 2 is what everybody asked me to do throughout all of high school. It was a horror for me, and hopefully this movie is going to be scary too when we review it. And last but not least, we have Alien 1979. If you watch that trailer closely, you can see me superimpose my face off of Yafacados, and we have the same expression. Get the hell off this shit. These people are losing their goddamn minds, okay? Please. Before we left, we were doing favorite scenes, best of, whether or not this tricked Chris sufficiently enough, which I think it did. And I think Chris actually is going to vote a way that I think he's going to vote. Spoiler alert, but I don't know that for certain. Let me just say my favorite scene. I would have to agree with him. I'm going to go Steve Hadley. That's Bradley Whitfield's character, who constantly talks about the merman. There's a scene when the people go down to the basement, and they have all these artifacts, okay? Artifacts from different horror movies or whatever like that, that they have basically, like they have the puzzle box, they have the jewelry box, you know, with the little ballerina on top. They have the Book of the Dead, the Necronomicon, which we saw last week when we did Evil Dead Rise. They have all these iconic horror movie items, right? And so depending on which one they pick up and which one they recite the right incantations, that horror villain will appear. Now, I can't remember if they show which one will summon I think it's a flute or something like that, but will summon the merman. But Bradley, it's the conch shell. Thank you. Yep. But Bradley Whitfield's character, Steve Hadley, he's constantly voting for them to pick the conch, okay? Which will summon the merman because he's never seen it in action. He wants to see it so badly, okay? Everybody else is voting on the zombies, but then they're the reanimated zombies. It's not just zombies. They're the fast-moving zombies. If you pause that scene on that chalkboard, it's so many different horror icons on it, okay? You have the family of killers and everything like that. But, of course, they don't pick it. But when they do go, as Chris has been teasing, down that elevator, they intentionally release all of these iconic horror villains, which you will recognize. Of course, they can't look exactly alike because those are trademark depictions, but they're close enough that you know exactly who they're supposed to be. And it's like almost like a love letter scene to horror Okay, of course it's a horror comedy, as Chris pointed out, and so I just love it because all of these people are getting wiped out in completely gruesome ways. But it's like, I would imagine if you were in theaters, I know I was at home watching this, I'm like, oh, there's so and so, there's so and so, and then you want to scrub back, or you in the theater and you say, I got to see that scene again to see who is that, who got him, and it's just great. I don't know where the snake one is from, but it reminded me of Jafar's snake when he turns into that giant cobra in Aladdin and everything. It was just a really great depiction. They even had a unicorn who was getting some of the action. You know what I mean? Just stabbing people with the horn. So it was a smorgasbord, that scene alone. But I thought very effectively, minus the horror, minus the comedy, when they go down in the elevator and it's completely dark and all of a sudden the lights start coming on and you have the gears that are cranking these cubes around with all these horror icons and they come face to face. I thought that scene was very effective. And some of the depictions, especially the pinhead dude, which was like he had a saw in his head instead of the pins, and he had those like completely all black contacts, not even like the white of the eyes was showing. I thought that was very effective. So I did really like that scene. They even, spoiler alert, ladies and gentlemen, cutting to the end of this movie, had an homage to older horror. Even though you see some of the depictions of the old horror in that scene when they are released from those prisons, but you have the old one or the ancient ones that the director in this movie, played by, surprise, Sigourney Weaver, says will come out. And that's the whole reason why they have to go through these ritualized killings. Why in all horror movies we see, while there's a jock, while there's the virgin, while there's the slutty girl, while there's the drug addict or, drunk or whatever kind of thing that inebriates the mind or whatever. That's why they have all of these tropes, because you have to perform certain sacrifices for these ancient ones who have agreed to, we won't destroy the earth. We'll allow you to have, but you must still sacrifice to us as you did in the ancient days. And as she explains, in the old days, they were satisfied. You could just throw a girl into a volcano and they were completely cool with it. But now they want a little bit more of a show. And if you don't kill him, the guy who he had brought his own weed, which wasn't tainted by the weed that they had tried to switch it out with, then the whole world will be destroyed by the ancient ones. And so you have this Lovecraftian moment at the end, which is like from the 1930s, the late 1900s, the late 19th century rather, like scene that ends the movie. And I thought, wow, that's really good. They just ran the whole gamut of the 20th century as like a love letter. And I thought that was really, really cool. And I just had to say that. But if I may, there were certain characters that I just thought needed to be highlighted. Of course, we talked about the merman. Here he is right here, crawling his way towards Steve Hadley. When he's finally released, that's how Steve dies, of course, by the merman, who I thought it was really effective. As he's eating Steve, the blood is squirting out through his blowhole, which I thought was completely disgusting, but it was so effective. Here we have the ancient one himself. It's Mr. Tobin. He wants it to end too, but that money brings him back. They find a way. Let the games begin. I don't blame you, buddy. I don't blame. Last but not least, you thought he was gone, but you knew he'd be back. Yeah, it's Reverend Kane. Reverend Kane, where have you been, my dude? Where have you been in that cave this whole time, smiling, sweating like me at work? I understand. But I just had to highlight some of those people. And here we come to a moment which I like to call thumbs up or thumbs down. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first. Like I said, I didn't know much or anything about this movie before going in. So fresh eyes. I didn't have the burden of knowledge that the executive consultant had with being able to have seen a trailer for it and know, oh man, this hasn't happened yet. So I'm expecting this. And that means this person can't be dead. So fresh eyes, went into it. It did hit the horror tropes. I thought it was very well constructed, and I did appreciate that it was also, a comedy. Like it didn't take itself too seriously. I was not expecting that it would just end with, the whole world going away. I was like, okay, somehow they're going to find a way to kill him before her so that it just, maybe, she becomes part of the Institute or something. But I did appreciate that they're just like, you know what? We'll just let the world burn. It is what it is. I kind of agree with that sentiment. Humans, humans are humans. And if you've met some humans, then you might agree with her too. So, all in all, though, it was an enjoyable ride, funny, had enough horror in it, decent enough story to at least keep the action flowing. So I will give it that good old light skin thumbs up.
There you go. Exactly.
I'm back and forth. I this movie was trash. It really was.
I can feel your anger.
You feeling that, Sidious?
Please.
This movie was bad. Mr. Gordy Weaver came in and said paycheck. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. I was entertained though, so it's going to get a thumbs up. A reluctant thumbs up for me, but this movie was bad. Like, it was just entertaining. But if somebody says, watch the Batman or watch this, I'm watching this every time.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's better than the Batman.
Yeah, you heard him, ladies and gentlemen. He know he liked this movie. Here's what I like about this, and Chris, fair point. The trailer led you to believe that this movie was something completely different. And then when it opens, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't seen this movie, it opens up there in some kind of like government facility, getting a cup of coffee, talking about their weekend. What are you going to do today? And then all of a sudden, it's like that sharp violin, and it's the cabin in the woods. And you're left to believe, like, but where is it? Then it cuts to somewhere like San Francisco or something like that. Again, what are we doing? You know what I mean? And you don't know until you get to the cabin in the woods. And by then, they have layered it so much and they've set it up so much that you say, I get it. And at that point, either you're with the premise or you're not. So I agree with Chris that you can waffle back and forth depending on what you thought this movie was supposed to be. Fair point. And I guess good that he didn't go to the theaters to watch this movie, but he got to see it at home. So it may color the opinion, especially if you had to see this in theaters thinking it was one thing, but it wasn't the other. I thought it was a nice twist, especially having seen it at home and not having paid thinking it was something else. Much like some other movies. Let me just shoot them off. Chun-Li, complete lie. Ragnarok, huh? Spider-Man starring Tony Stark trilogy, terrible. I went in those movies thinking they were going to be something else. I thought it was going to be about Spider-Man. It was about Tony Stark, Happy, whatever his girl's name was. Thor Ragnarok. I thought Thor was going to fight, but he got electrocuted. And Chun-Li, there wasn't a Chinese person in that movie. I was like, what's going on here? Oh, but this movie, did it give me the laughs? It gave me tongue-kissing werewolves. I haven't seen that since Underworld. Underworld, where you at? Celine, what are you doing? Oh, it gave me all the horror tropes. This movie knows what I want and what I like. Don't judge me. It has to get the black thumbs up. Hit it. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Last but not least, can I just give a quick shout out? I forget who brought it up, but Chris, he brought it up. Shout out to Chris Hemsworth for running that motorcycle into that force field and dying much like he did in Star Trek 2009. Quick behind the scenes. He shot this movie first, okay? But it wasn't released before Star Trek 2009. So it's so funny when he reads the script for Cabin when he said, your death scene is going to be, get this. You fly into a force field. So then he lands Star Trek. He's like, big money now. I made it. Gets the script. Hey, 5 minutes in, you're going to die. Wait, by flying into a force field. He reads the script for Thor Ragnarok. Wait, you're going to get stopped by an electric force field. Man, but he can't blame anybody because he signed up for Thor Love and Thunder. He knew what he was getting. He likes it. And I like this movie. It gets 3 black thumbs up. Halloween, baby.
Oh, you're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, Thursday, the Wolf Pack, as they like to call themselves, will be reviewing none other than Wall Street. And then next Tuesday, we are back here with a doubleheader of not only Smile 2, which is our horror movie month, a couple days late, but also Aliens. And we begin that franchise.
Alien
is where we begin.
So go ahead, check us out Follow, like, share, join us here every single Tuesday. I'm exclusive to Tuesdays now here for Federation Tuesdays. Myself, the director, the next doctor, the next executive consultant. I'm all flustered. I have a cold. Forgive me. So
you need some weed?
If you're a Florida vote, I know I'm in the minority. I know everybody's going to vote yes on option 3. I'm voting no on option 3 because I hate the smell of marijuana. So I'm voting no on option 3. Next week, I'm going to be upset. But anyway, for these two gentlemen, we'll say have yourself a very good night.
Smoke them if you got them.